Hello and welcome to City Scene, the TV program about your city government. Today we're walking right by the streets, beautiful newly paved streets, right, Ronnie?
That's correct.
We got Ronnie Donnelly, our street superintendent. How are you, man?
I'm doing fine. Yourself?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Did I get the title
Good to see you
right?
today.
Street superintendent, I get that right?
That's correct.
Not the czar of the streets?
Not yet.
You're like Superman. You're taking these beat up roads and you're making them like new.
We're trying.
Well, that's cool. Tell us about the project that's been going on lately. What you doing with some of these roads?
Street resurfacing that we're doing right now, the project that's going on, we're taking some of the roads, the major corridors, some of the roads that we've had complaints on. We actually received pothole requests through City Compass.
Right.
Trying to fill up some of those, and things that we look for is heavily traveled roads. You got a school here, you got a church, cutting off a major road into a subdivision. So it's pretty well traveled, pretty well beaten up road. So we process that we're using now is we're milling, doing a lot of milling and filling right behind that. So it's a good process. I think it'll give some longevity to the roads. And
now, what you're doing when you're talking about milling, basically you're scraping off like the top 2 inches and then laying down 2 inches of fresh on top of that?
That's correct.
Now,
Yeah.
what about some of those roads where you scrape off the top 2 inches and then all of a sudden realize this road's a lot worse than we thought it was? What's going on with that?
We have built in some base repairs along with those. We used to do base repairs in-house. It's kind of cheaper to let the contractor do them while they're there. So they just take the milling machine, just waller down and get some of that bad subgrade out and patch it back and then repave the street. So it's all in one process. We just close it one time and then we can open it back up and we'll have a good complete road.
And they make these roads then good to go for many, many years, as opposed to, you know, if you have to just do a pothole here and a pothole there, then you keep potholing, and eventually you're going to have to come and remill it anyway. Right?
Eventually you do. You know, you just build up to where, you know, you get enough funds that you can actually go ahead and attack it the way it should be. We do a lot of base repairs, spot repairs, and base work, primarily on roads that are not to that point where you need to totally rebuild them, but
right.
You know, to help try to preserve them.
And you can save more money by doing it at this stage rather than waiting till they get to the point where you got to completely rebuild the road, right?
That's correct. That's correct. Yeah, it's a costly scene there because you get a lot of aging infrastructure in there, the water and the sewer, the storm drain, that ages as well, and that causes problems later on down the road. So it's really costly, you know, if you let them wait.
That's right. So that's one of the big reasons why they got the push for the transportation bond coming up in November. Take a whole bunch of these city streets that really need attention, get them rebuilt, get them resurfaced, get them covered up, do the things that are necessary for good roads, right?
That's correct. That's correct. And primarily the focus is on those with our major corridors, Arlington, some of those that, not too sure which ones they have devoted to them yet, but I know Arlington Boulevard was one of them from probably 5th to Fire Tower. It's heavily traveled and it's well worth the money. No matter how much is spent out there, some of it is failing and some of it is failing pretty severe. And the biggest point to that, you know, spending the money to go ahead and do that section right there, it keeps my crews off of that busy road with potential of safety, somebody getting ran over. So that's priceless. You couldn't put a price tag on that. So I'm glad to see that the money is going to be devoted to that.
Now you're also talking about failing and some almost failing. You let them fail long enough and then it gets even worse and you get even more of the roads that you got to take care of too. That's not good.
No, that's not good. And you know, realizing that you only have so much money that you can deal with it in a year, and you go to those spots that really need it. And considering Greenville, you know, a long time ago when roads were built, there was really not that much traffic. It happens with any growing city. You see it no matter where you go. The infrastructure is, you know, you want to get everything developed and everything in is nice, but the infrastructure is going away pretty quickly. And, you know, it's just a matter of time. You're going to have to spend some real money on it. So.
Okay. Now, for the areas that aren't quite so bad, just got a pothole, I know I can use City Compass. You mentioned City Compass. It's an app that's for your iPhone, your Android phone, whatever you got, and it's free to use. You actually use the GPS in your phone. You take a picture of the pothole, you hit submit, send it to this guy, and you send out a brand new truck, right?
We do.
What's this pothole truck about? I keep hearing about.
It's an automated system. Supposedly, you know, the sales pitch on it's a one-man operation, but that's just a sales pitch. It's an automated machine that the person stays in the truck and actually it's patched with velocity. You're actually building the pothole from the ground up instead of going to a conventional method where you got to go to the plant and dig it out. You know, it's a real time saver. Best guess, we can fix a pothole in about 7 minutes.
Wow.
Just with 2 people, as opposed to probably about 4 or 5 folks spending, you know, about 3 or 4 hours saw cutting it out and, you know, tamping it back in, fixing it the correct way. So that technology has been around since 1989. Mm-hmm. So it's been out there. I just found one recently, you know, in the state of Alabama. They had a machine I was looking for.
You got a good deal on it.
We got a good deal on it. It's a real good process. It's very low maintenance machine, and it does a real good job.
Outstanding. Now, anything else that you want to talk about with these roads? Lots of good things going on.
Well, like I say, we're doing as much as possible, as much as the money will let us do, you know, each year. So we do have somewhat similar of a 5-year plan. Right now it's kind of in the makings with utilities to make sure they don't have any problems, and it's a process that you have to go through so we can get them on board. If you have any questions, you know, you can feel free to call.
Call Ronnie at Public Works, 329-4520, right? 4522.
4522.
329-4522.
That's correct.
To Public Works, and
yes.
They'll answer questions. But also, I guess you get questions a lot about city streets versus state streets. So let's make sure we're saying this. We're talking about you're repairing roads. You're not repairing roads that are state maintained roads, because that's what we pay state tax dollars for.
That's
so we're
right.
talking about some roads that are in pretty bad condition, like 10th Street, portions of Evans Street,
Dickinson.
You hear about Dickinson all the time. That's a state road. That's not done by city crews. That's the state, NCDOT.
That's correct. But you know, a lot of folks out there that are going to use the city compass, they really, you know, at that point they really don't understand whose road it is. They just see something out there that needs to be repaired. So we have a good working relationship with the NCDOT. So I just forward the request over. They go out and take care of it.
So you get the email, you see it's not a city street, it's a state street, you send the email on to somebody else, and they take care of it at NCDOT.
That's correct.
Outstanding. Ronnie, thank you much, man.
Thank you.